they're autonomous, they could be used, I don't know, 5 times more, maybe 10 times more. So you could actually, for the same car, would have 5 times as much value, maybe 10 times as much value. There's 168 hours in the week, and like I said, only 10 of them are used for driving. So and then a bunch of those hours are looking for a parking spot, which is, can be pretty annoying at times. So we want, with autonomy, you get your time back. This is a very big deal. So it's not just a save, like it'll save lives, like a lot of lives, and prevent injuries. I think we'll see autonomous cars become 10 times safer than a human. And if you think of times past where there used to be an elevator operator in every elevator, but once in a while they get tired and they accidentally show somebody in half. Now we have automated elevators. You just get in an elevator, you press a button, and you don't even think about it. And it just takes you to the floor. And if you did see an elevator operator with a big relay switch, you'd be like, that's weird. Now that's how cars will be. And it's not just the lives saved in injuries, but if you think about the cumulative time that people spend in a car, and the time that they will get back, that they can now spend, well, I guess on their phones, or watching a movie, or doing work, or whatever you want to do. You can think of the car in an autonomous world as being like just a little lounge. You're just sitting in a comfortable little lounge, and you can do whatever you want while you're in this comfortable little lounge. And when you get out, you will be at your destination. So, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So in fact, I think the cost of autonomous transport will be so low that you can think of it like individualized mass transit. The average cost of a bus per mile for a city, not the ticket price because that is subsidized, but the average price is about $1 a mile. Whereas the cost of cybercab, we think probably over time, for the operating cost is probably going to be around 20 cents a mile. And price, including taxes and everything else, probably ends up being 30 or 40 cents a mile. So yes, and you will be able to buy one. Yes, exactly. We expect the cost to be below $30,000. And I think there'll be an interesting, business model where, like, let's say somebody is an, Uber or Lyft driver today, where they can actually sort of manage a fleet of cars, and like a sort of manage, I don't know, 10, 20 cars, and just sort of take care of them like a shepherd tends their flock. You have your flock of cars, and you're the shepherd, and you take care of your flock of cars. I think that'd be pretty cool. And I think it's gonna be a glorious future. It's gonna be really something special. So, yes, good, all excellent questions. We do expect actually to start fully autonomous, unsupervised FSD in Texas and California next year, and that's with the Model 3 and Model Y, and then we expect to be in production with the Cybercab, which is really highly optimized for autonomous transport in probably well, I tend to be a little optimistic with time frames, but in 2026. So, yeah, before 2027. Let me put it that way. And we'll make this vehicle in very high volume, and but well before that, you will experience a robotic taxi via the Model 3 and Model Y program, and Model S and X too. But your 3 and Y will achieve unsupervised full self-driving with permission in wherever regulators essentially approve it in the U.S. and they approve it in the U.S. and then to follow in outside the U.S. So, and it's Cybertruck too. Yes, of course. Sorry, I don't want to be. Yes. All our cars, basically, all cars that we make. So, let's not get nuanced here. All right, next slide. So, one of the reasons why the computer can be so much better than a person is that we have millions of cars that are training on driving. So it's like living millions of lives simultaneously and seeing very unusual situations that a person in their entire lifetime would not see. But hopefully, yeah, exactly. So with that amount of training data, it's obviously going to be much better than what a human could be, because you can't live a million lives. And it's also, it can see in all directions simultaneously, and it doesn't get tired or text or any of those things. So it will naturally be, like I said, 10, 20, 30 times safer than a human, just for all those reasons. And I want to emphasize that the solution that we have is AI and vision. So there's no expensive equipment needed. So the Model 3 and Model Y and S and X that we make today will be capable of full autonomy unsupervised. And that means that our cost of producing the vehicle is low. Now we are going to actually overspec the computer for the Cybercab. So our AI5 computer will be somewhat overspec'd. And because I think there's actually also an opportunity, sort of like in Amazon Web Services, where if the car's driving for 50 hours a week, there's still over 100 hours left. And there's a potential there to have a massive amount of distributed inference compute, where if you've got, like, say, a fleet of 100 million vehicles and a kilowatt of efficient inference compute, you have 100 gigawatts of compute, which is really quite substantial. And if it's there, you might as well use it. So, yeah, so that I think will make sense. So, all right. So our autonomous future is here. As I said, we've got 50 Teslas driving autonomously. We're trying to give you a sense of what cities will be like in the future. And when you get in, you'll see, like, it's really quite a wild experience to just be in a car with no steering wheel, no pedals, no controls, and it feels great. So, and we have enough vehicles here, so everyone should be able to try it out and experience the set that we've built here. It's a very big set, so it's like really, we've used I don't know, 20, 30 acres or something like that. It's really big, so it's really big. So it goes on. The ride's long, and we set it up to feel like a ride, like a park ride. So it'll be cool, and you'll get to experience it tonight. Something we're also doing is, and it's really high time we did this, is inductive charging. So the robotaxi has no plug. It just goes over the inductive charger and charges. So yeah, it's kind of how it should be. Thanks, guys. I love you too. One of the things that, like, is really interesting is how will this affect the cities that we live in. And when you drive around a city, or when the car drives you around a city, there's a lot of parking lots. There's parking lots everywhere. Parking garages. So what would happen if you have an autonomous world is that you can now turn parking lots into parks. And so we're taking the ing lot out of parking lot. So there's a lot of opportunity to create green space in the cities that we live in. So that would be quite fantastic. Oh, and also, what happens if you need a vehicle that is bigger than a Model Y? The Robovan is, we're going to make this, and it's going to look like that. Now, can you imagine going down the streets and you see this coming towards you? That'd be sick. So this can carry up to 20 people, and it can also transport goods. So you can configure it for goods transport within a city, or transport of up to 20 people at a time. So this is gonna, the Robovan is what's gonna solve for high density. So if you want to take a sports team somewhere, or you're looking to really get the cost of travel down to, I don't know, 5-10 cents a mile, then you can use the Robovan. Some people call it the Robovan, but so yeah. One of the things we want to do, and we've seen this with the Cybertruck, is we want to change the
Perfect. Perfect.
Behind you as the driver or front seat passenger. And what that means, let's get back to it. We are right here. The black glass is just decorative. Yeah. And it's right here. It looks like a window. It is not. So you don't have the glass, you don't have the weight of the glass, you don't have the cost of the glass, you don't have the complexity. And because it's not real, this doesn't have to be a thin structural element strong enough to hold up the whole car. You can make it simpler and cheaper when you do that. And here's the other version of this. I had it open twice. Obviously, no steering wheel, no steering column, no steering assist motors or hydraulics, no accelerator pedal, none of the required electronics, none of the wiring harness, none of the testing and validation that goes into all of those things. You just eliminated 1,000 parts out of the car and made more room. There's more room now. So that's all a huge cost savings. Tesla, typical minimalist dashboard design, but with improved edges and surfaces, so the surface connects to make it easier to create a perfect scene. So I wanted to demonstrate. We already showed it on the outside of the car. We've already shown what the inside of the car looks like. It looks like that. But what do I mean by those seams? Like that seam, you wouldn't notice on the middle of the dash because it can be varied. It wouldn't matter. So I went to the old Googles and I typed in auto interior misalignment, and most of the results are Tesla. That's not good alignment right there. Yeah, plenty of these. That's not good alignment. That's not good alignment. That's something that is apparently kind of a known issue. And again, I didn't put Tesla in here. This is the real. I'll just reload it. It's the real results. Tesla knows this is a weakness. They've engineered out the problem. The problem can't exist anymore. They've engineered it out. And you can see clean lines. I mean, there's no real room for screw-ups. It doesn't have to, there aren't design elements that are contiguous from one panel to the next. Overall, this makes the vehicle perfect for a mass market use case and makes it very, very hard for any competitor to compete without having to burn first billions for several years in an effort to follow. If you're looking at a robotaxi design and you're trying to compare it against, let's see what this is. If you're trying to compare it against a Waymo, the Waymo costs what a car costs plus all the sensors. This car has the sensors, all Teslas do. They just eliminated all the other costs, all of them. That's why I don't believe we're going to find this with a steering wheel. It's just going to come this way. It's a Johnny cab. Now, I brought this picture up because, by the way, these are not scissor doors. These are more like butterflies. If there's a better term for it, let me know in the comments. But I brought this picture up because it shows the cargo space in the back. Substantial. There might even be a sub-frunk. Maybe not. Maybe they decided to put a full-size spare. Probably not. But this is enough cargo space for 2 people and their luggage. I mean, don't put the people in the back. No, do. Put the people in the back and the luggage in the front and buckle it. And then hit the close button, jump out, go to your destination. You're going to have a great time. Don't know how you get out. There's probably a release button. Do that when you get there. So then, but the reason I brought this up is AJ, when I reached out to him and asked permission to use his post on X as a source, because I do that, because I always do that, because that's respectful. I don't do it with the Fudster clowns. They don't need respect. I'm educating. In this case, I'm just cribbing his notes because he did such a good job and adding to them. He said, how come we don't see the frunk open? He said, how come we don't see the frunk open? And he thinks, and I agree, that there is no frunk. They moved all of those components that would have been kind of in your way in your feet into the space where the front would have been. They're using the front space for all the compressors and the octavalve and whatever it is that they need up there, the low voltage battery, whatever it may be. They moved it all into the front space because do you really need a second cargo compartment for just a little bit of stuff? It's not like you're carrying around jumper cables or tire pressure monitors. You don't need that. This isn't your car. Or it is, and you'll do that at the shop when it comes home to sleep for the night, whatever the case may be. So we believe there is no frunk. What did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Leave it. Leave it. Because remember, the best frunk is no frunk. I think that's what Tesla says, but I don't know because for whatever reason, they got me blacklisted. Stay tuned and juicy, and I'll see you in the next one.
We are on our way to the Tesla Service Center for the 1010 Robotaxi Reveal live watch party event. By the time you see this, the event will have already happened, but it's pretty cool to have a watch party here in Las Vegas. And it starts at 5:30. It's 5:36, but we're almost there. And you'll know what happened at the event if you already watched it. But for the watch party, do you have any predictions of what will happen at the watch party, what they're going to do?
I don't know, but I am looking forward for this event. I'll be excited. I'm excited about it.
They asked us if you want to do any test drives, maybe a Cybertruck test drive. We'll see. But other than that, besides driving Teslas and watching the event, we'll see what's going on.